Get ready. Are you ready? I'm ready. Hey, Rockstar. Hey, for today's for today's quote, I'm going to read from this little book known as Habits for Miracles. Check this out. Rockstar. This moment, this book, this transformative journey is for you. Regardless of your identity or circumstances, let me guide you in reshaping the course of your life by unveiling the incredible power of your mind to manifest miracles. Rockstar, today's going to be a good show. And Miguel, do the thing, yo.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Hey Rockstar, welcome. This is a show devoted to bringing value to those interested in starting a side hustle or side business. Whether you're looking to be dual vocational, full-time, part-time, or sometime, I bet our stories will entertain you, encourage you, and empower you to become the rock star of your business and industry.
Boom, we are back. We are live. Man, I'm excited. I'm excited for today's guest. This gentleman, I had a chance to meet him the time I went to MC up in California and got to hear his story. I got to get his book, and I just can't wait. Let's just go and jump on in. I don't want to take any more time because he's got a lot of wisdom, a lot to share with you all today. So, Rahul, welcome to the show. How are you, my man?
I'm amazing, my friend. Thank you for having me here. It's pleasant to be here and share with your rock stars about my journey.
Appreciate you. Well, appreciate you for jumping in, making time in your busy schedule to come to Hey Rockstar. For those of you who are new to our platform, we are a storytelling platform where we share stories of I was about to say legends, but yeah, but leaders and entrepreneurs, so that those who would aspire to live their greatest story as a leader and entrepreneur or a business person, they can learn, pick up valuable lessons to go out and live their greatest story, to find fulfillment and leave a legacy, and like we say here, and become the rock star of their industry. So, Raul, I know a little bit about you, but just for the people who are tuning in. Oh, actually, before this, for those of you who are watching us on either YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn, if you comment right now, your comment will be able to appear. Just for example, we have Marky B. He's a longtime fan of the show, and he's also was a guest back in season 2. Like I said, we need to bring that boy back as an entrepreneur. But we will highlight if your comment is relevant to the show, we'll highlight it as we go along. If not, we'll try to catch them all before we end this. So Raul, if you don't mind, just share with us what's your story, man.
Sure, sure. So my story is about mindset. When I was 6, 7 year old, there was one quotation that my dad shared with me. Where there is a will, there is a way. I didn't quite understand what he meant, but that has one quotation that has resonated with me till today. And throughout my journey, I have seen many obstacles, I have seen failures, I have encountered challenges, but this quotation, which is where there is a will, there is a way, really brought back my mindset when it was not going in a right direction, when it was going in a negative side. Hey, you can't do this, you cannot do this, all those negative elements that were coming. But this positive thought used to come: where there is a will, there is a way. And with that, I have encountered and I have faced overcome actually multiple obstacles. I have been into a situation where two nearly death saving incidents that have happened in my life. I just really faced death, but with God's grace, I'm still alive. I
Ah,
was able to do my double master's degree. I was successfully joined the corporate world and having a very successful career with many obstacles in between. I was able to write my book with my full time job. And that was something very fascinating and lifetime experience. And all that is due to the mindset of never giving up, the mindset of challenging your status quo, the mindset of believing in yourself is what has made me today who am I. So, with that said, currently I'm focusing on my entrepreneurial journey, moving into an author, a leadership coach, and a public speaker. And I would want to continue my journey with your rock stars and make them super rock stars.
no, well, I did forget to mention that he is an author. He's a coach. He is a speaker, uh, and amongst other things, he's got a pretty big a bio. But I just chose to share uh, the smaller one to begin with. But no, thank you for sharing that. And it's cool that you mentioned that your father gave you this just deep quote. Where there's a will, there's a way. One of my favorite quotes is, and it rings true, or one of my favorite scriptures that I like to use whenever I find myself in a situation. I always say, the Lord makes a way where there is no way. And that's the miracle. I expect that way to be open for me, and that's coming from my background. That's one of the wisdom quotes that I always God make even when I'm driving, God make a way when there's no way.
There's
We
no way.
get through that. No, but it's good. It's good that you had that firm foundation. So let's talk about, first of all, how you came to become an author. Let me get this because I have the camera limited on let's talk about this, the inspiration for Habits for Miracles. If you don't mind, let's just go and start with why the title? Why miracles?
Sure. So the word miracles means different to different individuals. The
True.
word miracles for a student getting admission into Ivy League would be a miracle. For a patient battling through a cancer, overcoming that disease could be a miracle. So the way I define miracle is not about any supernatural power. Whenever something difficult happens in our life, we always believe, hey, there is some supernatural power. I believe that we all have that supernatural power in us, and we have an ability to create our own miracles. So the title came in because I have encountered many individuals who were amazing, who had amazing potential, but they could not untap their potential. And they were wondering that why life is happening to them versus for them. So that's the reason I chose this title, Habits for Miracles. Definitely I wanted it to be a little catchy as well. I wanted people to resonate with it, and I wanted people to know that we have an ability to create our own miracles.
Sorry. I remember one of my mentors once said, miracles happen faster when you start working and placing yourself in the right places. We're talking about the more output you put, like, and that's gonna fit into the habits for miracles. But basically, the more focus you work, or the more calls you make, in sales, or the more outreach you do, the more people you network with, the better potential you have of setting yourself up for a what we call potential miracle, a
Mhm.
sale, or something greater. But let's before we move on to that one, let's kind of stick around with mindset, because that's the one thing that's the resonating message between all entrepreneurs, all leaders who are starting something new, who are going to do something almost impossible because they've never done it before.
Mhm.
Mindset's the one thing everyone said that's the one aspect that needed to change for them. When did you discover this, or have you already known this whole your whole time?
So the first time it happened with me uh, when I was 9 years old. I was playing cricket at that point in time. And in cricket, if you don't know, there are pitchers like how we have in baseball. They are called as bowlers, and there are fast pitchers and slow pitchers. So always used to get afraid whenever there used to be a fast bowler. Somehow I was not comfortable in playing against them, and I was getting very restricted while playing against them. And then I had a one-on-one session with my coach, and he taught me one thing. He told me that why it is happening to you. And I said that I don't want to get out. I want to score runs for the team. And then he said that you are focusing on the outcome. You are not focusing on the journey.
Good.
Focus on the journey. The outcome will happen. Enjoy the game. We are playing a game is for enjoyment. It is not about win or losing. It is about you right now. You are at a stage where you need to create the love for the game. And that thought process of enjoying the game and not playing for the outcome really made change for me. And next time, I mean, when I say next time, it took time. It was not happened, it didn't happen overnight, but it took time. But I was getting that self-confidence that what worst can happen to me? I would not be able to score runs. That's it. Nothing else. But that confidence allowed me to play well. And slowly and steadily, I was not afraid of playing with those fast bowlers. So that was the first instance that I remember that started about that mindset. So it's a mindset change, mindset shift And sometimes, Sazafa, it is all about the perspective. Our entrepreneurs, our leaders, there is nothing right or wrong. It is about their perspective. And when we are starting something that we have never done, then we should be able to do things that we have never done before. If I want to start a business, I cannot have a same routine that I was having in 9 to 5. I have to have something different. No, I have to give all in to get something that I have never had. To get something that I never had, I need to do something that I have never done. That is the thought process. That's the mindset shift we need to have in order to build a successful company or be a successful leader.
That is gold. Perspective. And yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about all this other interviews I've had with other individuals where the main thing for them was they didn't know the first thing about business. They just had this desire to serve their community, to bring or to share. Hold up. Yeah, they know better than to try to call me during the show. Um, sorry, that lost my train of thought. But
No,
let's go back
you
to
were saying
perspective.
that
But
we need to
basically,
know.
so okay, I think you know where I'm going with this. So then, what would be one of the best steps that an individual who wants to try something new they've never done before? What would be the best way for them to start?
So, is it okay if I give you an example of my own?
Always, always, of course, because that's like one of our mentors says. Your wisdom is not common knowledge. So
Yeah.
share with us, Rahul.
So, I will talk about my author journey. I was not an author. Yes, I used to write articles. I used to write programs or content for my trainings, but I never was an author. And it was the exercise that was done by one of my coaches, and he asked us to journal down our life stories that has impacted others. And when he gave this assignment for 5 minutes, we had no clue what we need to do and how we will mention all these things. I mean, we have to go from today's to maybe probably 2 decades ago. But over a period of an hour, we were a group of 15 people. We were able to list down those stories.
Mm,
Now, this Habits for Miracles is basically uh, the journal converted into a book. So all my lifetime stories that had an impact on others as well as my own self is what I have narrated in the story. Now, just writing the journal was not enough. You must have heard this phrase that when you want something badly, that thing also want you badly, provided you take consistent steps, not consistent perfect steps, just consistent steps. So as I was moving on my journey, I started to meet people who were already part of the journey. I started getting guidance from them that, okay, we have to do this first. Oh, you have to get an ISBN number. Oh, you have to have a script. Oh, you have to have someone to review your script. You need to make sure that your stories are getting aligned. So when you move, when you don't know anything, few things we need to do is know our own self. Who are
mm,
we? What are our strengths? What are our shortcomings? What are our personality traits? Because that is very, very important. And in my experience, I have seen that many of us, we don't know these basic things. It will take time for you to really jot down. So if you're starting something new, something fresh, first of all, know yourself. The second thing I would say is know the why behind it. You
mm,
need to know the why you want to do this, because that why has to be stronger. That why has to be the driving force behind you to make you up early morning or stay late. Um, And the third thing I would say is keep a tab of your inner circle. You have to have right people in your inner circle. If you don't have right people, probably you may not be able to move the needle. And by right people, it is being people who are positive, people who can give you direction, people who can give you coaching, people who can give you support, people who can love you. All those things are part of that inner circle. So know yourself, know the why, and have a solid inner circle of people. If we can have these three things, I'm sure it would be a good start.
Thank you for coming to Rahul's TED Talk. I mean, that was great. That was a masterclass in itself, and that's the important thing. I mean, know yourself, but also I want to add on to that is just go for it. Don't wait for it's perfect. Just start. Another one of my mentors talked about the importance of momentum. Momentum starts with that first step, that next step, and then you're gonna have to. And then of course once you're moving, you'll see a rock's coming up, a hurdle's coming up. Well, let's either we're gonna go under it, we're gonna jump it, or we're gonna toughen up and we're gonna break through it. But you just gotta keep going, and I guess that's what goes back to the need to enjoy the journey, enjoy the adventure. You got to love what you're doing, because if not, you're gonna be the first little obstacle is gonna tear you down. You're like, "Ugh, I knew this was gonna suck anyway, so why did I even try this?" But if it's something that truly turns you on, something that brings you purpose and drive, and I'm sorry that this is your show, not my show. I mean, you're my guest, but you got me fired up, my man. I love what you're sharing here. And then of course, the why. The why is important. Can I share something with you, and maybe you can help me? Well, I've kind of already figured out through it, but for the longest time, I struggled with finding a strong enough why. Any idea why some people might? Of course, now I do have my purpose, and it's lit a fire under me. But any idea why some people struggle with finding their why at first, or maybe they don't have a strong enough why? And okay,
Uh,
we're going off book, y'all, because he gave me permission with a different list of questions.
so I would say is the reason why people are not able to find their purpose is because they are thinking into too many directions.
Woo!
They are not thinking into one direction. They are going into multiple direction, and that's where they get lost. That's where they are not able to focus on one thing. They are into multiple areas. That's what I think could be one of the reason why people are not able to find their purpose. The other area I would say is if they're not able to find their purpose, probably they don't know themselves very well.
Mm.
So, for us to find our purpose, we need to know ourselves very well. We need to, another thing I would say is many times we think of those things, those materialistic things that we don't have in life. Very rarely we think of things that we have. So we need to have that mindset of gratitude, thankfulness to people around us, to Almighty, to all the supporters of your life. So have that gratitude, start having that gratitude journal, at least start thanking or thinking about one thing that you are grateful for every single night when you go to bed. Things will start coming your way.
That is powerful. Wow, and we haven't got to your book yet. This is just the feelers, the where you go into as a mindset coach, which is very important. And I'm starting to see a lot of a need in this industry, mainly also because I don't know about you, but I feel like at least a lot of our up and coming generations, they've lost a lot of their creativity simply because they're too dependent on the media of today. They don't know how to think for themselves. They don't know how to try new things. They're just like, what's feed me, feed me, feed me, instead of like, no, let your creative juices flow, but are but get your know yourself, and then as you start imagining, then you get to figure out, oh, I why did I come up with this image? What is it about this that I like so much? And then eventually the whys. I know as a kid, I have a friend today. He's not a kid, but one of my he just always asks why, but I don't even think he's looking for an answer. But I respect it when a child asks why, because that curiosity is what helps get to know you why. Again, I'm sharing a little bit about myself. Whenever something triggers me, whenever something happens and I suddenly react or feel just like my energy change, my attitude change, instead of reacting, thankfully I've learned the practice of kind of detaching and moving back, and then I'll ask myself, okay, why are you reacting to this? What is it doing for you? And that self discovery helps open up many different opportunities of new ways to fix things or to problem solve or those things. But I think that's like a power, just a powerful way of being able to detach from the situation to ask, why am I even reacting this way? Why does it have so much hold on me? We're not gonna get into trauma and none of that stuff. I'm sure that could be a big thing for some people. But I'm just saying, but it's good what you said, that first step, and maybe we can just camp out on this one is get to know yourself. Give yourself permission to know yourself. I had a mentor friend of mine who once said, he's like, I know myself because I've taken the time to date myself, to spend time with myself.
Mhm.
I know what tickles me. I know what doesn't. I know what I like, what I don't like, because I've given myself time to understand who I've been created to be. Anyway,
Wow.
that's some good stuff. Thank you for just triggering that and for adding some great value, great content. But you know what? Let's dive into your book, if you don't mind. We're not gonna go too deep, or we're not gonna do too much, because I want people to look this book up for themselves. Uh, Forget the cameras right there. I want them to look up Habits for Miracles. Can you get it on Amazon?
Yes, yes,
Perfect.
it is there.
Or
Wherever books are sold, it is available.
perfect, perfect. So, I like the miracle stand for an acronym, and I will tell you the very first one, the mind talk, and we can if you don't mind, because that's one of the questions that you allow me to ask you. You know, if you don't mind talking about mind talk. But before I go into that, let's just say when I read that, I decided to put into practice myself during my devotional time, during my prayer time, and so it's really interesting when I'm talking to my deity, and I am talking about this other person, talking about Josafat, and praying for myself as though I was praying for my family in the third person, and that totally changed things for me. I mean, whenever I do mind talk, or whenever I just do meditation, or those kind of things, I like to do a voice. I go outside into nature and I speak out loud. My We have a huge yard out here, a few acres out here, and I just go out there. It's beautiful being out in nature, and I talk out loud. But it's been really interesting. So for those people who are now like, all right, what is this mind talk we're talking about? Do you mind sharing a little bit more about what mind talk is?
Sure, sure, sure. So this is a very common question I get. What exactly is mind talk? Well, mind talk refers to the internal dialogue that we engage in, day out, talking about us with us. And why it is important, because our thoughts can be destructive or constructive. And it depends on the environment that we are living in, as well as the mindset that we are having in a particular time. And according to research, the positive mind talk, it has the ability to rewire our brains, keeping us in a positive frame of mind. So we if we are talking positive to our own self, we can stay positive to close to 6 hours. And that is where it's so important for us to inculcate ourselves into that talk with us about us. The only caveat here is I have heard that people also do this talk with themselves by using their word I. Like, I
Mm.
want to do this, I want to do that. I have found, based on my personal experience, plus the experience that my friends have shared with me, when they use their own name while doing the mind talk, it helps them in detaching from the emotions that they are having. It allows them to think more proactively, as well as more from a tactful perspective, rather than having that victim mentality. So use your name instead of just the word I. I personally do it 2 times in a day, when I get up and as well as when I'm going to bed, because when I go to bed, the positive thoughts remains in our subconscious mind for a longer time.
Mm.
And if we can do it, I think it has changed a lot of people's thought process, their mindset, including my kids have they do practice. I'm not saying they do it on a daily basis, but yes, when they have any important thing going on, like a game or maybe a test, they do that positive mind talk to them.
So, if you're listening, we're giving you permission to talk about yourself in the third person when it comes to mind talk. Yeah, that was what I was referring to. And yes, I guess I do practice a lot of mind talk because I'm trying to get to know myself. But whenever I started praying for myself in the third person, and you know how it's always when a friend comes to you and they share their struggles, and you kind of tend to have an idea to help them out, and you want to share. At least as guys, we do have this happens to us, um, and but then when it comes to our own, we are so, I guess because we are attached to it, to the what's going on, and that's why we are not able to see the whole bigger picture. But speaking to yourself in the third person when you talking and bringing these thoughts and working through whatever's happening, suddenly I'm like, I see clear, and I see like, oh wait, well, Josafat's going through this, but if you were to look at this, Josafat, this could help you go. It's just amazing that way. And of course, whenever I pray for myself now in the third person, I just love it. I don't know. It's real refreshing. It was a different way for me to try it. And I want to thank you for just introducing that idea of doing it for myself in the third person, because we do the affirmations.
Mhm.
We of course they teach us affirmations are, you always start with I am, but I don't know. I do that, but also I like to. So in my mornings, I do some breathing, and I'm sharing this with people. So now, first thing when I wake up in the morning, I'll sit there and just kind of capture my thoughts there in the dark, and then I will breathe in. As I'm breathing in, I am doing that mind talk. Like for example, let's just say I'm alive. I will breathe in and like, and in my mind I'm thinking, Josafat, you are alive. And then I would when I breathe out, I would like, I am thankful because I am alive. And then I would breathe in, and then the affirmations go. You breathe in, Josafat, you're healthy, and like, it's like I'm reminding myself, or I'm speaking to myself, and then
Mhm.
but as I breathe out, I would repeat out, oh, I'm thankful because I'm healthy. You have a
Yep.
family. I'm thankful because I still have my family. I am thankful because I was able to sleep in a warm bed. It just, but it's again, when I breathe in, I speak to myself in third person and remind myself of the blessings, the gratitude. And as I exhale, I say, I'm grateful, or I thank you because, and I don't know, it's just, that's been such a boost of energy. And then after that, I'll do my workout. Actually, no, I changed it now. I was trying to do my workout before doing my devotionals and my writing. Now I decided to start doing the devotion writing, and then I do the workout. After the sun has come out some, then I go out there and do some walking. Then I come in and do my resist. I don't know. It's just that, but that in itself, that speaking to myself in third person and declaring my blessings, and then just repeating thankfulness for it, has been such I don't want to say a youthful reawakening of my spirits.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing.
And thank you, man. Thank you for sharing that. So I'm glad you were able to come on here and begin to just share. And of course, we can talk more about your book if you want. Like I said, I failed you. I tried to finish the book, but I didn't because of the travels. But I'm halfway through it. But Anything else you'd like to kind of share with us about what you've written, and then we'll move on to where you're working towards now, what you're building.
Sure. As I spoke earlier about knowing ourselves, I would highly recommend those people who are wanting to create their own life, design their life their way, to do the analyzation part, self analyze who you are, what you like, what you don't like, your strengths,
Yeah.
areas of improvement. The other thing I would say is a lot of people tells that, or their experience is that I had this coach, I had this mentor, but there was no benefit to me. It was no help. And the way I look at it is, we as a coach or a mentor, we are mere a facilitator here.
Yeah. Yeah.
The heavy lifting, the hard work has to be done by the individual. So if you want to design your life your way, you need to be prepared to do that heavy lifting. You need to be prepared to invest in your life, to invest in your future. Things will not happen overnight. It will take time, but you need to stay committed throughout the course, and you need to take that action, because it's only you who can take action. We cannot take action on your behalf. So that's something I just wanted to share. And it is not easy. Designing our life, creating a miracle, or inculcating a habit, it is not easy, not at all. But it is doable. If you want to do it, you can do it, provided you have all the support, you have that why in you, you have that purpose, and that commitment of making things happen for yourself.
That is so true. I've I've decided to make my life just an a nonstop journey of learning. Like everything's a learning opportunity for me. Even when I went to university, let's say I had a professor. He did really well. I enjoyed his class. I enjoyed his teaching style. And if next semester he was reteaching, he was showing a different class or teaching another class I had, I wouldn't go for him. I would intentionally pick a professor I hadn't taken before, because to me it wasn't just about learning the material. I was also observing the way they taught, the way they reacted, different people, the way they tested. I don't know, I was learning from everything, not just the material. I was learning, their mannerisms. And then as I started teaching and showing up to help others, and then whenever I was asked to teach at a small university or a small private school, I came up with ways that I love testing better than we would call it multiple guessing, or I believe true and false are the hardest test there is, because it's a 50-50 chance. And honestly, the easiest one to grade someone by what they've learned or what they understood is essays. So I hadn't, although people hate essays, but it's the best way for us to know where you're at and how we can help you move forward. But it's all that writing, all that writing. But I'll say all that because it is true. It is true. And it goes back to where we've been conditioned people today to be so dependent on what's fed to them, and they want other people for the answers. They expect others to know the answers. I remember someone had mentioned, and I can't remember who I was watching, but a lot of people, when they're going to a problem, they'll go to a product or a coach, and they'll pay the 5 grand, 10 grand for the product, but then they don't do anything with it. They buy it because to them the mere act of buying it is supposedly it's a solution for themselves. But the true gem is not in just buying the product and owning it. It's about taking the steps. It's about getting the dirty. It's about doing the work to getting uncomfortable and trying it out, doing that new thing. And so yes, results vary because of you. But when you have that mindset of, you know what, I want to learn as much as I can, not just about what he brings or what she brings, but I also want to see how they bring it, what they're doing, because I want to become the best version of myself so that I can share it forward, pay it forward. And I want to, the same things I've learned from Rahul, the same things I learned from Hosafat, the same things I learned from XYZ guru or teacher, the more that I can bring of value for others. So I'm here. I'm taking so that I can give. I take so I can give. I actually have a list. I have a list of different teachers that I'm going to be hitting up pretty soon, dependent on areas that I want to grow in, like in speaking, in health, in financial literacy and such. So I have different gurus lined up as I go through one another because that's where we're at. We are in the business of self development and helping others become the best versions of themselves. Because at the end, I want to make sure that you and everyone who follows me live their greatest story ever, so they can have fulfillment and leave legacy. All right, so I love talking so much, Rahul. You need to stop me, man. Just kidding, just kidding. No, yeah. Let's talk about what you're cooking up now, where your future is going. So we've heard about how you heard about where there's a will, there's a way. So and then that leads to position yourself in the and be ready and do whatever needs to be and developing the habits for the miracles to happen. Get to know yourself. You became the author. You tried it out and now you're moving on to the next thing. And of course, this is leading you to this new area, this business that you're building to help others. Do you mind me asking what are you about to share with others? What are you bringing to the world?
Sure. So there are three aspects that I'm focusing on, and I would choose one at a time. I would not do all three at a time, but there are three broader aspects. One is I want to pass on the message of my book through my speaking engagements, so that I can help many individuals who are wanting to create their own life or design their life their way. The second piece I want to focus on, or I will be focusing on, is uh, during my grad school, I was a teaching assistant and I used to teach Unit 101 course to students of undecided major. So I want to focus on a program and coaching for those students who are not decided about their careers or majors, to help them decide the right careers or majors for them. So it will be more in coaching and training program for them. And last but not the least, in my 20 years of corporate experience, I have seen many leaders becoming leaders without formal education, without formal learning about training, about leadership, and they make their own share of mistakes. And the brunt of that mistakes needs to be taken by the employees they are leading. So I call them as accidental leaders, leaders who are not by choice but by chance. So I'm
Yeah.
building up a program for those accidental leaders, entrepreneurs, or the leaders in the corporate who just be there, who are there just by chance. So I want to educate them to make sure that they can lead their team members in the right way.
All right. So I like that. Leaders by chance.
Mhm.
By default? No, no, by chance. I don't know. Growing up, and maybe I'm asking too much here. If I'm prying too much, just go ahead and tell me no. That's for another book or for another time. But do you ever find yourself like usually in a room, if a problem were to arise and no one is first to step up, do you find yourself being the first one like, well, you know what? I mean, I didn't want to be the leader, but if I need to, I will step up to the challenge. Has that ever happened to you?
Yes. So multiple times, I was there was a name that was given to me by my senior colleague, and was a firefighter was the name. So whenever there was a situation, it was a like a firefighting situation where you need to make ends meet, you need to make it happen. Rahul is the guy. So I was that fire extinguisher. I was that person who was able to make things happen. So I've always been up to challenge. Until today, I am living up to a challenge. Whatever I'm trying to do is the first time. So it's my first step. But I'm very certain that I will be able to do it successfully because I believe in myself. I have all the arms and ammunition, and Almighty is with me. All the support of great people like you is with me, Joseph. So I'm sure I'm bound to be successful.
Wow. Now that's confidence to the max. Love it. I love it. Yeah, yeah. It's just leadership, and that's one course that I've learned too. I mean, even growing up, I was attracted to books like John C. Maxwell's Business Leaders or 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership and those things. But just it's funny because it's nothing glorious, honestly. Being the leader is not really glorious. I mean, anything it's self-sacrificing. Of course, it depends on the leader, and it's not just the title. It's you genuinely want the best for the people with you. You want everyone to succeed, and if no one's moving, then I'll be the first one to step up. You saw that evident today.
Mhm.
We were meeting with the group, and no one stepped up. And like, well, I'll step up. You know, regardless of if you guys want to know more about that, invite us to coffee. We'll share more about our personal lives. But but no, just leadership is a whole topic in and of itself, and that's why I believe, that's why I opened this up. It used to be just entrepreneurs and business starters, but I wanted to open up to leadership because there are people, that's just a whole world that people don't know about. They assume it's a title, but no, it's it's a decision. It's a price to pay to help be a leader. And I mean, yes, you'll have benefits, but sometimes you might not even see them right away. But that's for another topic, another discussion. I did see a question that I wanted to ask, and for the listeners, because this is the one thing people always asking, especially in relations to purpose. You know, do what makes you happy, find your happiness. You know, maybe that'll lead you to your purpose, but I want to just in general, I want to understand what you mean by happiness, but more importantly, on what you mean by a circle of happiness. If you don't mind, please just tell our listeners about the circle of happiness.
Sure, sure. So this is a concept I use in my book, in the first chapter, Mind Talk. And the way I define that circle of happiness is the first step is for us to be happy, is to have that positive mind talk. That is very, very important. One, when you are doing that positive mind talk, what will happen is you will start having positive thoughts. Now, mind you, today in 24 hours, we as a human being get 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts. And the unfortunate part is 90% of them are negative thoughts. So it's very important for us to have that positive thoughts in our mind. What these positive thoughts will do, it will propel us to take positive action, and positive action will lead to positive life and happiness. So it's a circle. So it's not that once you are happy then you are done. No, you need to again start there. A positive mind talk, positive thoughts, positive action, positive life. So it's a circle that goes, probably every single day. If you want to remain happy, do it on a daily basis, and you will see a change in your lifestyle.
Wow, that reminds me of this meme that I saw. A little comic character, those two characters, and one was just like they were buying stuff, and then they saw this one little character with a little box that said happiness, and the first character's like, "Where'd you get that? Where'd you find that?" And the second character's like, "I I I, I made it myself. I created this myself." And that's where it starts. It's I love that you start with the positive mind talk,
Mhm.
because that's a whole discussion in and of itself. I know a lot of people who they harp on, what's it called, where
Self
they
doubt,
talk. What's that?
self doubt.
Yes. Well, there's a different word for it, but it just I see. I'm not too familiar with it anymore. But they're constantly putting themselves down for entertainment purposes to bring relief to others, or to make people laugh. That self
Self
desecration or
derogatory.
self-regret, something like that. You know what? It's okay. We don't need to talk about that. But it's all about. But I do. We are all guilty of. We look at ourselves and we see. We just want to highlight the negative, or we use that false humility. I love, okay, all right. I'm stepping on toes here, but it's happened to me before, especially in the circles that I walk with people in religious circles where they do something amazing. and I want to go up to them like, "Hey, good job with the words you brought, or good job with singing that song." And the first thing they're like, "Oh no, 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 it wasn't me. It was all glory to the highest." Or they would, and I don't, I'm not trying to talk down on them or make fun of them, because I was there too. I was there where I was constantly saying, "No, don't give me praise. Oh, thank you. Oh, look at this. Marky coming in clutch with self-deprecation. That's the word. I couldn't think of it. Anyway, I try not to practice that, or help people try not to do that. But no, but like I was in the point. I remember when I was my most insecure, and I was doing some amazing things like singing and performing. When people try to give me some kind of praise, I was like, "Oh no, no, not to me, not to me. I'm no one. No, no. This is a gift from the Almighty. You give the praise to Him." But it wasn't until I met a friend in Mexico who was an opera singer, and he changed my perspective, because he's used to being in these big crowds. And not only that, but in Mexico, at least in Latin America, they when the opera singer sings the main act, at the end, people are tossing him roses and giving him praise. And I saw this man just say, "Yes, thank you." People were just loving on him, and he was just thanking. And I remember asking him, because he was also just a cool guy. I never saw him as a very arrogant person, but I talked to him, and I'm like, "Hey bro, how do you do it? How do you do it to be able to be in this situation and keep I guess a humble face?" And he goes, "Well, honestly, every praise that people give me is their form of paying me back, because they are grateful. They're genuinely grateful. Every praise they say." And so instead of me being self-deprecating, I would just I
Take
would
it
say
on.
thank you, because they were genuine, and they wanted to offer me that, and I would say thank you, and it helped them feel good. And I took that, and I needed a little bit of praise. And it goes, but in my mind, every praise was a rose, and I would imagine I was collecting roses. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And he goes, but at the end, when it came between me and my creator, I would hold myself as like, "Creator, thank you, because I receive so much praise, but I know who this belongs to." And then in his own quiet time, without all the eyes, he would prostrate himself, and he would practice gratitude and humility, and that kept him going. And so that changed my perspective. That now I'll say thank you to anyone. Sometimes I'll
Hmm.
say a little more. I'm not sure if I did this to you, but one of my favorite lines, when people are like, "It was so great to meet you," and I would answer with, "I totally agree. It was great to meet me." Give a little laugh here and there. But it's just something I like to throw in there. But at the end, I understand who I am, because I got to know myself. I know the value that I bring, but not in an arrogant way, but because I know I'm helping more people. And of course, when I'm having my alone time, my devotional time, that's when I say, "Thank you for making me this way. Thank you, because people see value in who you've created."
Absolutely.
Anyway, so sorry, that's my circle of happiness and joy in different ways. But yeah, so I just totally took everyone on a tangent. Thank you, Rahul, for inspiring me to bring some more value to this tale, to this story. So now you're also gonna open it up to serve others as a coach, as a mentor. Um, if anyone wanted to reach out to you and find out more about you, how would you like for them to reach out to you?
So they can find me on my book's website, habitsformiracles.com. I'm sure it will be on the show notes. That book has all my social handles. Connect with me on social media. I'll be more than happy to see how can I help, and how can I help them in designing their life their way.
Beautiful. Anything else you'd like to just throw out, or even if you have a question, I'll be willing to answer
So,
for you, my
when
man.
you were talking about this gratitude thing, about that Oprah example, so this is in leadership something we have learned, that whenever you are receiving praises for you or for your team, all credit goes to the team.
Yeah.
However, whenever there is any negative or constructive criticism, it's all come to you as a leader. So there is a price that we pay to be a leader, and that price is that sacrifice. That price is to keep your team members morale uplifted. Their price, we are paid to do the difficult jobs, to give constructive feedback to our team, or to take on that challenge. So that was coming in my mind when you were talking about that gratitude. Yes, we have to be gratitude to others. We have to pay gratitude to others. But as leaders, whenever you are is all good things, give the credit to all your team members. Whenever something is not going right, take that credit for your own self. Don't
Hmm.
put it on anyone else.
Wow. No, that's brilliant. Are you familiar with Myron Golden?
Yes, I have heard that
I
name.
love watching his videos. He actually started in the same industry I started in financial services, but now he's a multimillionaire and he's teaching people about businesses and his whole thing is creating new offers. Oh, that's one of the many things. But he said something that I wanted to add to that because yes, criticism and that's for the leader. Take that. However, he said something. Never focus on the negative unless it's for problem solving.
Hmm.
So once you receive the negative, once you take it, take responsibility, but then say, all right, I'm only going to dwell on this to find out the problem to solve the solution. Which once you figure out the solution, will probably be a lot more money coming your way. But that's the gift. That's another thing. And then of course, give give praise to your people. Give praise to your team. Like, hey guys, we did it. And
Yep.
share the wealth. No, that's good. Thank you for bringing that to mind. I don't know. I love that we can just bounce these ideas and these quotes and just the stuff that we learn along this journey. Because at the end, it's like Rahul said, you got to learn to love the journey. Focus on the journey, focus on the adventure, focus on the story that you are writing. Don't focus on the outcome. Don't focus on is it gonna sell. Don't focus on all that stuff. Don't get distracted by that. But just enjoy what you're doing. And do it with that grateful heart because no one can do it better than you. No one can teach better than you. No one can speak better than you. Your story, your lessons, your wisdom. Whew. This has been a really good show, my man. A lot of good
Yes.
value. Anything else you'd like to tag on?
No, I
We
think I just request the rock stars to take that action. Don't procrastinate. Take that action consistently, and you will see the change happening. Believe in yourself, love yourself, and dream big.
I love it. I love it. I didn't tell everyone you were in Washington D.C. right now, right?
Yes, yes, I
Yes,
am.
I didn't tell everyone at the beginning, but I will now tell everyone this. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining us for episode 95 of Hey Rockstar, featuring Rahul. I am your host, Josafat, and I don't know. Hopefully, no, actually, I know you did. Go back and watch this episode. Get all the value from this because this value is meant for you to take, run with it, so that you can then become the rock star of your industry. So from both of us, all the way from Washington D.C. and the studio here in Andrews, America, we want you guys to have much love and many blessings. We'll catch you next time, Rockstar.
All right. Thank you.